Hi guys, Raisin Brain here. Today we're going to start the Character Spotlight series, and I thought who better than to start it with than the one and only Lucifer. So, starting with Lucifer, we're going to discuss her skills. Her S1, Blink Slash, it deals attack damage 2 times and inflicts fracture, which reduces their attack, on an enemy while granting Keen to herself before the action. Now, Keen allows, it'll increase her crit rate, so she has an easier time landing those crits. And at plus 15, like mine is, her skill 1 will target 2 enemies. Onto her skill 2, Void Laser, deals attack as damage and inflicts injured, which reduces the enemy's healing, and then will stun the enemy with the highest speed. Onto skill 3, it's Fallen Glory. She deals attack as damage and increases the skill cooldown of the target by 1. After the action, it'll reset her passive, Fear Nothing. And the reason why I say reset instead of extend is because it's going to reset. It doesn't really extend, it more so, if you have 0 turns, it puts you back at least whatever turns yours is based on if you have it up to plus level 4 or not. And then her passive has 2 different effects. The first effect is Fear Nothing. After conducting an attack, you will follow up with 2 attacks on the enemy with the highest HP and heal by a percentage of your max life. 2 things to note on this. 1, that max life heal can crit, as you can see here. And the follow-up attack, it does not consider a S1 attack. Even though it does share the same animation, it is not the same. So you will not get fracture with the follow-up from this. Now, the second effect is Fallen Angel Arms. When a battle starts, she gets a percentage speed increase and starts with a shield. Now, this is a great opener. It's what makes Lucifer so great with farming, PvE content, and really all around just a PvE queen that allows you to get most of your progress in the game complete. Now, talking about Star Shards, to know right off the bat, some of the milestones for Lucifer on Star Shards are going to be Karma 23, which is her speed increase. Karma 28, Karma 28, which is her crit rate increase. So at Karma 23, you can switch off of Nightshade if you want, but personally, I'm running Nightshade still. I haven't found a good Chaos set to switch over to. But it is recommended that, I would recommend at least, you switch over to more damage build for her later on, especially because she's going to get that natural speed increase from her passive. So she won't really need the outside speed as much. Now for your soul mirrors, I highly recommend that you get attack percent with either crit rate or crit damage subs. And then on your left side mirrors, of course, make those flat attack. Going straight into different content we'll start with Guild over here. So your daily raids, she will excel on days that have multiple enemies because of the fact her S2 and S3 require multiple enemies to really get damage out of them. Her S1 can do a lot of damage because it hits 2 times. And once you get her to plus 15, you're going to watch your damage double with your S1 because you're hitting another enemy now, which is really going to help push your guild scores higher, get that limit that you need. Over here in the reward section, you can really get up to this 595 on a 3 enemy boss day, which really makes it easier. Let's see. After guild, we'll go talk about some of your dailies. So first daily on the list is Trainer's Gym. Now for Trainer Dungeon, it's a stage 1 event, so it's pretty easy to clear, especially because your Lucy passive will give you that base speed increase, which gives you that easy stun turn 1. Now with that stun, it should allow your allies to follow up and finish the kills. This dungeon really doesn't have any gimmicks, so it's pretty easy to clear, I'd say. Now for Gold Dungeon, she's not a bad choice. Due to her chasing after her initial attacks, it's going to let her get more hits off to affect the gold units. The downside of this chase mechanic is she's not going to target the one almost dead. She's going to target the one with the most HP. At plus 15, she just gets even better because now instead of 1 target, her S1 is going to hit 2 targets, which will help her keep the clear up and allowing to push your gold dungeons further and meet those turn clear requirements. However, I do recommend if you start to notice like most of the enemies are dead or you have 2 enemies remaining, I personally would use my S1 over my S2 at that point because I get 2 hits and then a follow-up versus 1 hit and a follow-up. And then of course use your skill 3 whenever you need to reset your passive in order to get that chase back. On to the next dungeon, which is your Evo. With Evo dungeons, she's still a great place to bring Lucy, even though the mechanic here is, as we know, or if you don't know, when a unit gets hit with a type they're strong against, that being the enemy, they heal. But that heal can't occur if they're frozen, they're stunned, or they have another hard CC that prevents movement. So a taunt doesn't count because they can still move on their turn. A charm doesn't count because they can still move on their turn. It's only hard CCs. Now, even with that in mind, she's still hitting twice, she's doing chases, and so she's still a pretty good unit to bring. Just remember on the floors that have blue units down here, you're going to have a little bit more of a troubling time clearing because she is red after all. Now, one of the last daily dungeons with your tickets is your Transcend dungeon. Now, Transcend will be a pretty good one, especially because our Lucifer is moving so fast that she shouldn't have to worry about the enemies going before her. That'll allow you to get your stuns off so your allies can follow up and get, the defense breaks, their move gauge downs, the charms, whatever you need to do, you can now land it on the enemy easier because you're not getting whacked by them so much. Now, on to Star Shard Temple. Star Shard Temple, Lucifer is a godsend when it comes to clearing this, especially for turn clear requirement due to the fact that she can hit hard and hit multiple enemies hard, and all the follow-ups she does. So she's going to allow you to really clear and get out, and then you have the enemies that are really fast that will charm you here, and what that allows you to do is get the stun off because they're going to be the fastest unit on the enemy side, which is going to prevent you from getting charmed and allow you not have to worry about wiping your own team out. So for campaign and events, it's basically the same thing. Lucifer is just a strong clear. She handles all of the campaign content, which is for me has not been a big problem. Of course, I have other units that have helped with that, but Lucifer alone, even on my free-to-play, has really helped push me all the way up and keep going. So for normal PvE content, Lucifer can really help get your turn counts. That's where she's going to help you meet is your turn count, because that is a star that I've noticed on my 4-star only has a big issue with turn counts, is because I don't have the clear capabilities that the Lucies we have can. And hopefully you've already started playing during the prior event, the Summer Lucifer, so everyone has their free Lucifer, because even at +0, she is going to put in a lot of work. Now, in reference to the arena, which now that we're here, we're going to actually show some gameplay. We're going to make sure it's off of quick match. Let's make sure that our system has the intro animations on so we can really show you the niceness of this. So as you can see, I'm rank 7, but what we're going to do is we're going to come into here and we're going to attack, we'll attack JR. Now, knowing Lucifer and the advantages against her, the advantages Lucifer brings to others and the disadvantages that you will have when you have your Lucifer. Now, disadvantages you might find are against a Leviathan like he has, because they're going to slow us down, and if it's a +15, which his is a +8, you can always come here and check. So I'm going to get a -10 speed decrease, which means JR is probably going to beat me in the speed department. Let's see. Beelzebub, he doesn't have one on his team, of course, but Beels can be really annoying because of her passive, which taunts the enemy with the highest attack. So if your Lucy has the highest attack, she's getting taunted. The same thing with Leviathan's freeze. If you have the highest attack, you're going to get frozen. Metatron, when they have a Metatron, it's really annoying because usually their Lucy has the highest attack, is the fastest, and so you're not going to get your stun off even if you beat them in speed, which means they're going to stun you in turn, and now you start with your move gauge at 0 basically because you've just went. Asmos, whenever you're facing Asmo, you really got to make sure you're bringing your own anti-charm, because with multiple reds, you're just going to get charmed to death. In this case, my team, however, is pretty strong with what they do have set up, so it should be fine. Gabriel's just death. If Lucy encounters Gabriel, she's going to get beat down pretty hard. A good example of that, which we'll just discard the change. Will be Levy Simp here. Actually, yeah, we'll fight Levy Simp here to show. He's got a pretty strong Gabe, and you can see here in a bit what she really does. So Lucifer, as we know, as I talked about, does an attack down. I wish, for the love of God, that it affected everyone, but it doesn't. Azmira is one of the few that it really doesn't, because she scales purely on defense, so she's not going to have to worry. And then along with JR's team that we just saw a second ago, Camilla, you're going to get stoned, and she's going to slow your speed down because you are the fastest speed unit on your team. And so with that, you're not going to be able to do it. But here, we're going to just go ahead and we'll increase the cast limit real quick, and then we'll attack Levy Simp here, and we'll show out some of Lucifer's stuff. You guys can see the intros, the animations, and things like that. Hopefully we get enough of it. If we don't, we will go run one of the daily dungeons in order to really display like the different animations for her, since there's no way to view it in game without having her. So here we have his Lucifer's doing the spear drop down. So he is faster than me, especially because his levy is reducing the speed of all my units. So he's gonna outspeed me. You'll notice though I got stunned because my fastest unit was my Lucy. Here his levy is gonna throw out the S2, which should freeze normally, but I have Summer Lucifer, which is going to CC resist, as you saw. His Beals is going to do a move gauge increase, which is going to push everybody up. Thilla's going to go. Now, the reason why my Chino's taking 1 damage is because I also have Thilla here. Thilla and my Chino are both on the buff for the leader buff of Thilla. So here we're going to take some damage, and then his Gab's going to go. So you'll notice this whole time, like, I haven't got to take a turn yet. And Gab is most likely going to just one-shot my Lucy's, like she does every time. So here you can see why Gab's such a threat. She's a blue unit, she hits multiple times, and she's just going to hit really hard. Now, the team comp, what you run, really can make up better for like your whole team as a general. So here we're going to use Chino, get these attacks off. We're going to put *3 until we get a Lucy back on the field. That way we can really show it all off. So here, we're going to beat up on his Gabe. Little Gabriel over here. Lucy's going to follow up. Chino's lost her buff, so now she's going to get hit. However, Thilla still has hers. Thilla gets to go now. And here's a magnificent thing. So if you learn how to team comp and do things better, you'll notice Thilla's going to do her second hit here. And it's going to bring everybody back. Oh, bring Lucy back, who's now going to get chained by his levy again. Okay, it's Chino's turn. So what we're going to do now is we're going to hit this Gab one more time. Put her down low. And then if we finish her off, everyone gets a heal and we bring Lucy back. Now, if you remember, we got picked on pretty heavily, but now our Lucifer's back and we'll put on *1 and you can see the spear drop again. We'll drop it on his Thilla. So Gabriel's given them invincibility, as you saw. Now, normally she's supposed to remove invincibility, especially if you have the Lucifer on your team, but I don't know if... Oh, it did! Cool, it actually does remove the invincibility. I saw before the update that it just, for some reason, wasn't. So here, we're going to put it back to *3. You're going to see Thilla take care of her, and then we're just going to finish the battle out. We're going to finish it real quick, and then what we'll do is we'll go to a campaign stage and we'll run just a Lucy so you can see the power of a +15 Lucy. So we'll go back, campaign, daily. Actually, we'll just run a main storyline quest. Make sure the skip after clear is on. I think we'll just leave it like that. We'll hit go, we'll hit edit, we'll come over to Team 6. Actually, we'll just drop everyone off Team 1. And as a good support, I would say, for units when it comes to your Lucy, if you're wanting to build a good team, Metatron's a good option because her S2 allows her to get off the extra damage due to injured. Summer Lucifer because all of her buffs and passives are based on having the original in the party. Levy gives everyone a speed buff, so therefore your Lucy can still you can outspeed the opponent Lucy's when it comes to arena, even if they, your speed isn't as high because you're getting that extra bonus. Belial can be really good because she's going to remove your freezes. She's going to give you that crit rate buff, and her passive is going to give you more max life as a strength unit. Beelzebub because she's going to provide a great ally to Lucifer because she's going to defense down and she's going to pose a big threat to all the blues while giving you move gauge increase. Gab is another good thing to run with her because if you build her all attack and you get her above Lucifer, you're not going to get CC'd at all because the Leviathan CC for freeze and the Beelzebub free CC for taunt will go to Gab instead, who is turn 1 CC immune. Chino is another great person to run in the party because she's going to give you she's going to give the enemies the dots. She's going to decrease your skill cooldowns, and on a guild boss she's going to give you 100% move gauge. Thilla is going to be a great person for the party for that 100% crit rate buff at plus 15, 75% buff. Elphys is good because her leader buff will give you a 15% increase or 18% increase to the damage. Furka for the move gauge increase, which is Furka's main whole kit, and Sandal because she's going to be a great tank that's going to free Lucifer from getting hit all the time and allow her to get heals off to keep your Lucifer alive. Now, personally, for now, just to keep it simple, I will probably run. We'll run a Beals to keep the team simple, and just so you can see the intro and everything. So with this, we should be able to see Lucifer's special intro. Here we are. So we'll put it down to 1 times, and you can see her drop the spear. You'll notice that hit didn't apply fracture because, remember, her passive doesn't count as a S1, it just shares the same animation. We'll use Beals as S2 to do a move gauge increase. We'll pop back down to 1 times. Oh, we'll let it go through 3 times, and we'll pop down to 1. Here, we're going to... Here's the S1 with the double hit. Follow with the follow-up chase from the passive. Go to times 3 to get to the next area, and then we'll show off the alt. And from there, we'll give our final thoughts, well, my final thoughts to Lucifer. Here is the ultimate. So while they go through their turns on auto, we will talk about the my final thoughts. So for Lucifer, I see her as more of a PvE queen when it comes to clearing content. Arena, you can bring her in there. Right now for Global, definitely bring her in there. I'm not saying don't. But later on, she's going to have a pretty big issue in there just due to the fact of all the other easy counters that people will have to her. And it just comes down to she'll keep you alive in all your content when it comes to the PvE side. She's going to get your clear turns down, and she's going to allow you to really beat what you need to beat. But I wouldn't use her in Arena unless she's waifu for you, is what I'm trying to say. She's a waifu for me, so I'll continue to use my Lucifers in Arena until, of course, my Xmas Lucifer and my Gunslinger and everybody else eventually comes to Global. Then we will see my team shift a little more. But right now, I'm definitely going to keep using my Lucifer. And as you can see, 2 units isn't enough for these stages, even as a Lucifer, which mine, sadly, isn't as strong as it could be. But thank you for watching. I will leave a link to the community Discord down below, so if you have any questions or concerns, you guys can come over there and hang out. And thank you for tuning in. Like and subscribe.